Assalamualaikum. Hi there. We are going to explain to you how to answer question number 6. Agent Ali fires a bullet with an initial speed of 400 meters per second into a 4 kg wooden block resting on a smooth surface and attached to a spring of spring constant to 100 Newton per meter. The bullet, whose mass is 7.5 gram, emerges from the wooden block right after the collision, as shown in figure 5. He measured the maximum distance d that the block compresses the spring to be 9 cm. Determine.
Question A. Determine the speed of the block right after the collision before momentarily stop and compresses the spring by using conservation of mechanical energy. So based on the question, we are required to use the principle of conservation of mechanical energy, which is delta K plus delta US, which is the elastic potential energy of the spring, equals to 0. So these are the values that we have already extracted the values from the diagram. This is the diagram before the collision, and this is the diagram after the collision. So now we apply the conservation of mechanical energy. So expand the equation, so it will become kinetic energy final minus kinetic energy initial plus elastic potential energy final minus elastic potential energy initial equals to 0. After that, we remove the unnecessary value from this equation. We got that we're going to remove the kinetic energy initial because we don't have the value for the initial velocity of the block because the block is initially at rest. And then we remove the initial elastic potential energy because the spring initially at equilibrium, so the x initially becomes 0. And then we substitute the value. So after substituting all the values that have been given from the diagram, so we can find the final velocity of the block. So we just use the calculator and calculate the final velocity, and the final answer will be 0.636 meter per second. That's all for question A. That's it.
So the question for B, question asks about the velocity of the bullet after collision. So the velocity bullet after collision is here. Then the question stated that collision, when there is collision, there is momentum of two objects. So the momentum of two objects which is added lah. So we could use momentum conserved, which is momentum initial equal to momentum final. So M1 is for bullet and M2 is for block. Okay. M1 we got 400. We just substitute the all values. And for M2 which block, V initial will be 0 because the block is equilibrium or there is no velocity. And then M1 bullet, so M1 V final we want to find it, so we put this. And then M2 V final 2 V final block we could use by we got the value from the A, so this is it. And then we find the value of VF, so we got 60.8 ms negative 1. That's it.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يؤتي الحكمة من يشاء ومن يؤت الحكمة فقد أوتي خيرا كثيرا وما يذكر إلا أولو الألباب صدق الله العظيم.
So the translation of the verse is, Allah grants wisdom to whoever He wills, and whoever is granted wisdom is certainly blessed with a great privilege. but none will be mindful of this as a pupil of reason.
The lesson we get from this verse is every question and every hurdle in the world cannot be solved without the wisdom that is granted from Allah, and without it we cannot go further and be successful in life. And we as human beings must be grateful that Allah give us the chance to get the wisdom from Him and can be successful in life. MashaAllah.